Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Bob Mendelsohn, and this is the Bob's Your Uncle podcast. What follows in today's episode of Less Than 5 Minutes is what some call a meditation, a thought, a devotional to assist you in thinking along with me about a certain topic. And in this 5-part season, we're looking at the first chapter of the Newer Testament in the Bible. That means, in less than 25 minutes, you will have considered what Matthew, a tax collector, had to say about the characters in the genealogy of Yeshua, the Jew, and why we should consider him as relevant in the 21st century. Join me here by the fireplace as we talk about the root supports you. We read in chapter 1 of Matthew, the record of the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, Jacob the father of Judah and his brothers. Judah was the father of... Paul wrote the Church of Rome, most of whom were non-Jews, about their condition before coming to Messiah. They were the uncircumcised, or Gentiles. Paul cautions them in chapter 11 of Romans that they should not boast towards Jewish people, for it is not you that supports the root, but the root supports you. As Matthew opens his gospel narrative and biography, he wrote a genealogy. That's not the way most writers today win their audience in the proverbial first 30 seconds. Why does Matthew start like this? There are many reasons. First, I believe he wanted God's people in future generations to remember that Jesus came from this line, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, not Ibrahim, Ishmael, and Esau. Unfortunately, this is exactly what happened in the anti-Semitic proclamations of the 2nd century all the way up to modern times. The dismissal by the churches of the roots of the faith has weakened the church in every place. Forgetting our heritage and things and people Jewish, we thought of ourselves as the new Israel and caused our people irreparable harm. A second reason to start with this genealogy is to prove to his audience, principally in those first century days Jewish people before the temple was destroyed, that the Messiah had come, and he's validated. The true Messiah was required to come through the tribe of Judah, and more specifically, through King David's line. Messianic hopeful claimants had to prove they were direct descendants. Matthew lets the record show this is visible in Jesus. A third reason to include the genealogy was to highlight certain personages and their, dare we say this, less than holy life. We could say that bringing certain ignoble characters into the mix might make some people later to reconsider if Jesus could be pure and holy enough in himself. But Matthew seems to be saying this: if Jesus could come onto the scene through the likes of these wayward folks, then there's a great likelihood that he could continue to do so through you. No one is out of God's capacity to forgive and through whom he can demonstrate his favor. No one. More on that in a later episode. Thanks for joining me for this episode 1 of the interim season 2. Remember, when things seem bleak or uncertain, look up to God. He's in his heaven and Bob's your uncle. Shalom from Sydney.